Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. So just when you get comfortable, they go and completely flip the script on you, right? A lot of our game planning uh, coming into the week, a lot of our game planning last week has now been thrown a huge curveball, right? Either you may or may not be aware, but this morning, they announced that they were going to backtrack from some of the tariffs that were supposed to be instituted in September. Uh, for whatever reason, uh, they want to push back time frame from September to December, and really that just gave like a huge lift to the market. Just a real massive, quick, fast run, and it kind of creates like this real huge question mark now going forward, right? I mean, it's like we did some technical damage a couple weeks ago, but that was all off the supposed escalation of a trade war, the looming tariff deadline, right? But now they're walking that back, and now it's just do we just get back to business as usual, start reclaiming levels and start grinding back up again? Um, it's a giant question mark, and that's why I mean it's especially important right now to be nimble because things are developing super fast. The moves are like breakneck. You're getting 2, 3, 4, 500 point moves a day, and things are changing very dramatically in a very short window. So it's just we really got to be nimble. Got to have tight stops. Got to have a little bit quicker targets or maybe less aggressive targets, right? And what I'm watching personally on the SPY, and I'll get to the Qs in a second, is this 50 day. This seems to be the momentum line in the sand, right? When we got below it, we bounced consecutive sessions into it and couldn't get back through, right? And then that started the rollover, which as of yesterday we were back below the 100 day and looked like we were set on retesting the low from a couple days ago and the 200 day. Now we're back through the 100 day, but as you can see, we failed almost perfectly at the 50 day again, right? So this is the near term momentum line in the sand. I feel like if we stay below it, you could be still maybe cautiously bearish, right? But again, acknowledging that things can change very quickly here. If we do get through that 50 day, then it really wouldn't surprise me if we make a run for the 20 pretty quick, and then once through the 20, that kind of just resets a bunch of faster levels from just a couple months ago, and we've seen the story before. I mean, there's been plenty of instances where we were down a lot and had this ricochet rebound. So it's certainly something that you can't be caught off guard because it's happened too frequently to really get fooled again, right? So 50 day, this is what you're watching. If we get through that, then you turn from maybe cautiously bearish to more bullish, and then you're looking for things that maybe are leading and have held above moving averages to start leading again, and things to start rebounding. Okay. Um, Same thing with Qs. I mean, very similar setup. Although you can see that it's a little bit through its 50 day, whereas the spiders are still stuck underneath. This is a little bit through, so it gives you the idea that tech is leading, right? So if you're looking for names maybe to be bouncing quicker, tech could be it because tech seems to be leading at the moment. But overall, very similar setup. Now, I mean, what's interesting also about this is that it just kind of changes a lot of the setup for earnings this week in a big way because coming into the week and the video I did yesterday talking about all the names reporting, one of the main themes was that most of the biggest names all had some sort of impact by this looming tariff headline, right? So you had retail, you had China tech, and you had semis, chips, right? So it seemed as though it was just like a recipe for a choppy, tough week of earnings catalyst trades, and it may end up still being like it may end up playing out that way, but it also could be a setup kind of like similar to what we're seeing in JD. So this was one of the first China tech names. Obviously one of the bigger names of the week too on that front. And they had a pretty strong number this quarter, this morning, and you can see it's up very, very sharply. So it's up about 380, 375. It was priced in about 250 or so. So definitely exceeding that priced in amount, and you can also notice that it's having a really sharp rebound back into some ranges from just later in July, right? So it might, it's one reaction is not a pattern, but possibly Huya tonight and YY tomorrow, right? I mean, if you start to see multiple names in this group start to like beat and really rip, then probably worth keeping an eye on, because you got Baba coming up later in the week, and some other big names too, right? And the same goes for retail. I mean, it's going to be a kind of like a retail focused week. Macy's tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see what that has to say, because that might influence what you do with Walmart, right? And then on the chip front, you have AMAT and Nvidia a little bit later in the week, and if there's kind of like a walking back of like this tariff or trade tensions, then Nvidia in particular actually looks like it could have some space to really to rebound a lot more aggressively, right? Versus like the chip stocks, which are considerably off their June low. Nvidia is off its June low, but not to the same degree, right? So taking this like one day at a time, very fluid situation. Things are developing very quickly, but definitely have to acknowledge that this headline could really change a lot of the setups for earnings this week. So I like to kind of read into like the preliminary numbers, so like the JDs, and then tomorrow morning with some of the retail, right? Because that really could shape the bets for the back half of the week. Just because you got just a big round of kind of volatile names expected to report, and things are kind of changing, right? So we'll see. But a fluid situation, no doubt. All right, guys. I know things are been kind of a wild few weeks here, so I'm sure you might have some questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Love to hear from you. Hope you have a fantastic night, and best of luck if you're playing these names. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow, all right?